Hello everyone. Good morning and welcome back to Abhishek Jalan for your YouTube channel. My name is Abhishek Jalan and today we will explore how GitHub Copilot enhances developers' productivity by integrating AI into the coding workflow. So GitHub Copilot is an AI-powered coding assistant developed by GitHub and OpenAI. It acts as an virtual peer programmer. It helps developers write code faster and more efficiently. Some of the key statistics on GitHub Copilot's impact. 46% of the new code is now written with AI assistance. Developers work 55% faster overall. 74% of developers feel more focused on satisfying work. Copilot is available as an extension for multiple IDEs. Those include Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, Nuvium, and JetBrains IDE. Now let's explore some of the features of GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot comes with a variety of features. Those are tailored to assist developers in different areas of the development workflow. So let's quickly go through some of them. GitHub Copilot for Chat provides a chat GPT-like interface for coding assistance. It recognizes error in the code and provides real-time suggestions. It also explains complex code blocks in depth. Copilot for pull request offers AI-powered assistance when reviewing and merging pull request. It also generates summaries and suggests changes. Copilot for CLI integrates with terminal to compose commands and loops. It also handles complex shell commands and obscure flags efficiently. GitHub Copilots offer several subscription plans to cater different user needs. Some of these plans are GitHub Copilot Free, GitHub Copilot Individual, GitHub Copilot for Business, and GitHub Copilot Enterprise. So, GitHub Copilot Free provides a limited number of code completions and chat responses per month. It is ideal for individual developers exploring Copilot capabilities. It includes 2000 code completions per month and 50 chat messages per month. Please note, usage limit apply for this plan. GitHub Copilot Individual is designed for individual developers seeking comprehensive AI assistance. It includes feature like code completions, AI chat in IDE and mobile, security and vulnerability filters, code referencing, and IP indemnity. GitHub Copilot Business is tailored for businesses to manage Copilot users more efficiently. It includes all the individual plan features, plus, it also provides centralized management, team collaboration tools, and advanced security features. GitHub Copilot Enterprise is a comprehensive solution for large organizations. It includes all business plans feature plus it also provides personalized AI suggestions, deeper code-based indexing for context-aware recommendations. So depending on your need, you can choose the best plan that fits your workflow and organizational requirements. Now, let us try to understand some of the ways on how we can interact with GitHub Copilot. So, one of the most immediate ways Copilot helps is through inline suggestions. So, as you write code, Copilot predicts and completes the next steps. So, how it works? So, you start writing the code, Copilot analyzes the code and the related context, and then Copilot suggests code snippets as gray text ahead of your cursor. In order to accept the suggestion, you can either press tab or the right arrow key. If you want to reject the suggestion, you can press escape or continue typing. Now let's quickly see this in action.
So this is my Visual Studio Code, and let me start typing some code. So let's say Well, as you can see, it is already giving me a suggestion as I have started typing the code.
So another way to interact with GitHub Copilot is via command palette. So the command palette provides a quick access to Copilot functions, making it easy to perform complex tasks. So let's understand how to use it. So first of all is how you open command palette. You can open it by pressing Ctrl Shift and P key in the Windows and Linux systems, or by pressing Command Shift and P for Mac users. Then you type Copilot in the command palette window to view any available command, and then you can select options like explain this to understand code snippets, or generate unit tests like to create test cases automatically. Now let's quickly see how it works in practical. Hello everyone. So let's just quickly see command palette in action. So I am typing Control Shift P from my laptop. Just a second. Yeah, and then I will type Copilot, and you can see a sample command here on this screen. And I will ask Copilot to generate, let's say, test cases for this. So, so I will ask Copilot to generate test, and you can see it has already generated test cases for me. Thank you. Copilot chat allows you to communicate with AI using natural languages. To use Copilot chat, open the Copilot chat panel in your IDE, ask questions or request code snippets, and then you can evaluate Copilot responses and refine as needed. This feature helps when debugging or you are learning new concepts or writing complex code structures. So let also see this in action.
So let's see GitHub Copilot chat in action. So as you can see on my bottom right corner, I have a small icon here. So let me click on it. So it's open the menu here. And if I click on GitHub Copilot chat here, it's give me a console to talk to Copilot via chat. So let me ask Copilot something. Uh, Please tell me how to implement binary search in Python. And after I have asked Copilot, it has started implementing binary search in Python, and it has also given me a sample usage. Thank you.
Okay. Now, inline chat brings AI assistance directly inside your code editor, offering personalized suggestions. So, how do you use inline chat? So, place your cursor where you need help and use Control plus I button on Windows plus Linux systems, or Command plus I key on the Mac systems. And then you can ask Copilot to explain, modify, or generate new code. Now let also see this in action.
So let's see inline chat in action. So let's consider this is my sample code for some use case, and I want to understand what this line is doing. So I put my cursor here and I press Control plus I button on my keyboard. It opens a small box to ask from Copilot, and I simply write explain me this, explain me this, and it will ask Copilot to explain the things and let it think. So now Copilot has started generating the output. We can make it slightly broader, and as you can see, it has generated the explanation. And once we are satisfied, we can close this chat.
Now let's try to explore how GitHub Copilot helps to move on move from comments to code. So Copilot uses natural language processing to transform comments into working code. So steps for using this is write a comment describing the functionality that is needed, and then press enter, and then Copilot will automatically generate the code for you. So this speeds up the development by reducing the need for writing boilerplate code manually. So let's explore this in more practical way.
Now let's quickly start to learn how we can generate code from the comments using GitHub Copilot codes. So let me add a comment. So I will ask Copilot um, generate function to implement uh, Fibonacci series, and I put enter, and see Copilot had generated me the function, and I press tab key, and my function is quickly generated from the comment that I passed.
Now, let's move ahead to learn the key things on how to set up, configure, and troubleshoot GitHub Copilot. To get started with Copilot, follow these steps. Number one is sign up for GitHub Copilot at the link for GitHub Copilot. I will mention this into the description. Install the Copilot extension in your preferred IDE. In our case, we are doing it via Visual Studio Code. Enable or disable Copilot via the status bar in Visual Studio Code. Configure inline suggestions in Visual Studio Code settings, and troubleshoot Copilot if it's not functioning correctly. So let's practically see how to sign up for GitHub Copilot.
So now let's try to understand how we can sign up for GitHub Copilot. So I'm into my GitHub dashboard. This is my demo org. So you can see my profile picture here for GitHub. So when I click on it, you can see settings option here. And if I click on settings, Copilot option is present under code planning and automation block. When I click on Copilot here, it will open the GitHub Copilot section, and then you can subscribe to it. I am already subscribed to GitHub Copilot Business. So for me, it is already showing enabled, but you can enable your Copilot for your GitHub by going to this place. Thank you.
Now let's explore how to add the Visual Studio extension for GitHub Copilot.
Now let's quickly see how we can configure Visual Studio extension for GitHub Copilot on our Visual Studio Code. So on the left menu, we have the extension option. So once we click on the extensions, so we can see the list of extensions which are already installed or are available to install into your Visual Studio Code. So if you don't see GitHub Copilot here, you can type in GitHub Copilot, and you can see the option here. Uh, you go to this available extension, and this blue badge so that this is verified from github.com. And for me, I have already installed, so I am getting option to uninstall but not to install. But for you, if you don't have GitHub Copilot already installed for your Visual Studio Code, you will get install option. You can click on it. One thing to remember here is for adding GitHub Copilot extension to your IDE, you need to pre-authorize Visual Studio Code onto your GitHub repository or the GitHub organization. But if you already haven't done it previously, it will ask you for an approval when you try to install it. So you can do it there also. Thank you.
So now let's quickly learn how to enable and disable GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio Code.
Hello. To enable and disable Copilot, uh, You have to go on bottom right corner. You can see Copilot status icon here. Click on it, and then if you on the command palette, you can see edit settings. Click on here, and here you will see GitHub Copilot enable or disable window. So based on the requirement, you can enable or disable Copilot. Thank you.
Now let's quickly see how to enable or disable inline suggestions in Visual Studio Code.
So now let's see how we can enable or disable inline suggestions in Visual Studio Code. So process would be like same like earlier. Let's go to the GitHub Copilot status icon here. Click here and then click on edit settings and go to extensions and in the GitHub Copilot, and here you can see enable auto completion. So if you don't want yeah, to enable auto completions, you can uncheck this box and it will disable it.
So now let's quickly see if you encounter any issues with Copilot in Visual Studio Code, how you can troubleshoot it. So first of all, check if Copilot is installed properly and enabled in your extensions. Sign into GitHub with active Copilot subscriptions. Restart Visual Studio Code after your changes, and ensure firewall or network settings allow Copilot's API access. Also check Visual Studio Code settings for Copilot configurations. Now let also quickly see how to access the log files if the steps doesn't resolve the issues.
So let's see how to open the logs file for troubleshooting Copilot if you encounter any errors. So first of all, let's go to command palette. So I'm pressing Control Shift and P on my keyboard, and then I will type developer, and then I will click on developer open log, and it will ask me what log I want to open. So you get various options. So which particular log you want to open. So let's see, I click on GitHub Copilot and it gives me a log, and I can see what error I get and um other logs related to GitHub Copilot in this location.
So now we have reached the end of the today's session. Thank you for listening the session today, and I hope it has been informative to you. If you need any further help or want to connect, please leave a message in the chat section and send a connection request on LinkedIn. And please subscribe to Abhishek Jalan for your YouTube channel to keep listening the content. Thank you.